I never imagined that a single innocent comment on a fantasy book forum could spiral into one of the most satisfying acts of revenge I've ever delivered. It started on an ordinary evening. I had a cup of coffee, my laptop open, and the glow of my favorite fantasy subreddit lighting up the screen. For years, I had been part of that community. It was my escape, a place where people could talk about magic, politics, and heroes without judgment. That night, a post caught my eye. Someone asked about a side plot in the sprawling 14-book epic that had defined my teenage years. 2,000 named characters. Hundreds of side arcs. A world so vast it felt like you could live in it. I typed a quick response, naming a supporting character whose presence fit the question. Just a name, no plot, no spoilers. I hit send and thought nothing of it. Moments later, my notification icon lit up. At first, I smiled, expecting gratitude or maybe a fun discussion. But what came instead was a storm. Some random user, someone I'd never spoken to before, jumped down my throat. He accused me of ruining the series for him. Said I had spoiled everything just by mentioning a name. His words weren't just irritated, they were venomous. He called me stupid, an idiot, claimed I had destroyed his enjoyment. I blinked at the screen. For a second, I honestly thought it was a joke. How could naming one character in a series with 2,000 named characters possibly be a spoiler? I typed a calm reply, explaining exactly that. But instead of understanding, he doubled down. Message after message flooded in. He told me to learn how to behave on the internet. He sneered at my reading comprehension. He mocked me as if I were a child. My hands hovered over the keyboard. I could feel the heat creeping up my neck. My jaw clenched so tightly it hurt. All I'd done was answer a question. Yet here I was, being berated and humiliated in a place that was supposed to be safe. I tried to let it go. I really did. But the notifications kept coming. His insults grew sharper. He started calling me names that weren't just about books, they were about me. My intelligence, my character. There's a point where frustration hardens into something else. It's like a switch flips in your head. One moment you're defending yourself, the next you're staring at the screen thinking, fine, you want to play? Let's play. I took a deep breath and opened his profile. Sure enough, his post history was a breadcrumb trail. He was only halfway through the series. He didn't even recognize the name I had mentioned. That's how I knew exactly where to hit him. He was still in the honeymoon phase of reading, living on cliffhangers, making predictions, staying up late because he couldn't put the book down. And here he was, treating me like garbage over nothing. I didn't want to break subreddit rules. Public spoilers would get me banned. But private messages? Those were fair game. My fingers hovered over the keyboard, and a dark, calm determination settled over me. I wasn't going to shout or insult. I was going to do something far worse. I started with the first major plot twist, typed it out slowly, almost ceremonially, then another, and another. Every death, every betrayal, every secret that only longtime readers know. I described how the big villain was finally defeated, who rose and who fell, what happened in the bittersweet aftermath. I even threw in a few of the best fan theories about the future of the world after the final chapter. By the time I finished, it wasn't just a spoiler. It was a complete roadmap of the series. Years of anticipation crushed into one private message. My cursor hovered over the send button for a moment. A final test of my resolve. I could almost hear his smug tone in my head. The way he had mocked me. The way he had made me feel small. My finger clicked. Message sent. I sat back in my chair and stared at the screen. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then the little scene indicator appeared under my message. And then nothing. No angry reply, no insults, just silence. It was like a thunderstorm had rolled over and left a stunned, quiet field behind. In my mind, I pictured him reading line after line, his eyes widening, his stomach dropping. That slow, creeping realization that everything he'd been looking forward to had just been revealed. The dramatic deaths, the secret betrayals, the grand finale, all of it. I imagine the way his excitement must have dissolved into anger, then despair. Months of reading wiped out in seconds. And me? I felt calm. Not giddy, not guilty, just calm. like a weight had been lifted off my chest. For once, someone who thought they could bully a stranger online had run into a wall they couldn't climb. I didn't yell. I didn't insult. I just gave him exactly what he accused me of giving: spoilers. Only this time, it was real. Hours passed, he never replied. He never tried to insult me again. The thread went quiet, and I moved on with my evening, my coffee now cold, my screen glowing with the next unread post. People think revenge has to be loud and dramatic, but sometimes the most satisfying revenge is silent. It's watching someone trip over the very trap they built for you. It's the click of a send button and the knowledge that the scales have been balanced. I don't feel bad about what I did, not one bit. Respect is a two-way street. If you treat people with kindness, you'll get kindness back. But if you harass, belittle, and insult someone over nothing, you might just ruin your own experience. Sometimes karma waits. Sometimes it arrives instantly. That night, it arrived instantly. If this story gave you chills, hit that like button. Share your own tales of justice in the comments below. And if you want more true revenge stories that feel this good, don't forget to subscribe. Because sometimes the best stories are the ones where the bad guy never sees it coming.